Yeah, no. When the blood goes from the inside of your body to the outside of your body, it's a really easy way to motivate yourself to not do stuff. So it doesn't even hurt. That's the crazy thing. You'd think it would be painful. It's not. You're shitting, and then all of a sudden, the inside juice becomes outside juice, and you're like, it's not supposed to be like that.
Hey, what's up, Vox and Hops heads? I'm Matt, the vocalist of Cryptopsy and the host of the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast, brought to you by Sound Talent Media and Evergreen Podcasts, where I sit down with fellow metal musicians, talk all about their lives and music while sharing a craft beer. I hope you've been having a killer week. I hope you've been enjoying Sober February so far. Sober February is sponsored by Pitch Black North. Pitch Black North are also known as the Satanic Tea Company. That's right, they make the most sinfully delicious teas. All of their products are ethically sourced and only created in small batches. The Satanic Tea Lord himself has created a unique promo code for all of you Vox and Hops heads. So go check out their website, pitchblacknorth.com, and go and grab a bunch of killer satanic tea. When you're checking out, use the promo code VOXHOPS15, that's VOXHOPS15, and you will save 15% off of your entire purchase. Not only will you be saving, you will also be supporting the podcast, and that is something that I would greatly, greatly appreciate. I am so stoked Pitch Black North is sponsoring Sober February. Now, I'm very stoked that on today's Artist Spotlight, I'm shining some light on Author of Your Downfall. Get ready, everyone. Here is their killer track, Rev. That was sweet. Everyone, that was Author of Your Downfall's brand new track, Rev, which was released on January 18th. It's a part of their brand new EP, and if you like bands like Polyphia and Intervals, then you will most definitely enjoy Author of Your Downfall. They have a headlining show coming up on March 4th in Denver, Colorado. They have tickets on sales right now on their socials. If you would like to go check them out and follow them, which you should, I have put all of their pertinent links in the description of this podcast. Massive cheers to Author of Your Downfall for being on today's Artist Spotlight. Now, before we jump into today's episode, I'd just like to ask you to follow the Vox and Hops Metal podcast on the podcast platform of your choice. But more than that, I would love for you to tell a friend about the podcast. If there's someone in your life that is just a little bit everywhere, is involved with just a little bit everything and seems to do it all well, you should let them know that the Vox and Hops Metal podcast exists. You can tell them that there are over 390 episodes where I sit down with some of the world's best metal musicians and we talk all about their lives and music while sharing a craft beer. If you would encourage one of your jack-of-all-trade friends to become a brand new Vox and Hops head, that would be something that I would truly appreciate. Now, today on the podcast, I'm very stoked to have back for the fourth time, that's right, first four-time alumni. Get ready, everyone. This is Vox and Hops episode number 394 with Andrew Gerrity.
I warn you, what you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm very, very stoked to be back with my good friend Andrew Gerrity, the first four-time return guest, 4 appearances on Vox and Hops. Does not happen very often. You were on the podcast way back in the beginning, episode 14, which we recorded in Slovenia, I want to say. Drinking a Kozel, if I remember correctly. Episode 38, we were in a bandwagon. I can't remember where we were when we recorded that. We were in the States somewhere in a bandwagon because we had to have you on. In New York, it was right at the end, yes. Because we had to get you back on because you were too nice the first time. Episode 211 was a Thirsty Thursday virtual hang where you hung out till you blacked out. You don't remember what happened after the interview. You do remember the interview part, luckily, but you stayed on till late, which, it was in the peak of the pandemic. We were all hanging out on the internet and doing what we do. Gerrity, let's start with a very, very simple. How are you doing?
All right. I literally just got back from tour 2 days ago, and it's the longest. This will be the longest stretch that I've been home since January. First week of January somewhere. So I'm confused about what to do with my free time.
Yes, if everyone does not know who Andrew Gerrity is, he is a road dog. He is continuously on the road. He's either driving for bands, running merchandise. I met him when he was doing the Devil's Trifecta of doing TMing, merch, and driving Abysmal Dawn on the Cannibal Corpse Obituary Cryptopsy Abysmal Dawn tour back in 2016. That's when I first met Gerrity, and he's gone on to do countless things. Just you were out with like Alice Cooper. Am I crazy there? But you were with Danko Jones or something like that.
No. It was Buck Cherry and Alice Cooper.
Buck Cherry and Alice Cooper. See, he's gone on to do some things, people. He sooner or later he will not be doing death metal tours anymore, is what I keep telling him, and that's a good thing. when you're a part of the crew, that's a good thing, and I'm proud of him. Being home, talk to me about that moment of finally being back home after being away for so long. What goes on in your mind?
Oh man. Well, I mean, I got back this time, so I was in Australia. We did a bunch of dates in Australia, and then I flew back to the East Coast, and then 24 hours later flew to the West Coast, did 3 shows, and then flew back to the East Coast. So my internal clock was completely fucked up. So the first thing that went through my mind the first night I was home is, when the fuck am I going to be able to sleep? Because it was like 6 in the morning before I passed out. But now, I mean, oh God, I don't fucking know what I'm gonna do. Like, I have a million things I plan on doing, but we'll see if I actually get through any of them. There's like a good chance I'll just sit around and drink coffee and do as nothing, and get that nice like buildup of existential dread where you're like, I have all these plans of things to do, but then you don't do them, and then you beat yourself up because now you don't have time to do the things that you wanted to do. It's a fucking the human brain. What a fucking machine.
It is perfectly exactly a human brain, which is about exactly what I was going to say. Is that something that you do when you're on tour and you're on tour for so long and all the time? Is it something like in your mind you make this list of things that you're going to do when you're finally home, and then by the time you get home, you just want to relax, and then you're disappointed in yourself?
Absolutely. Like, I mean, I've got so like uh, uh not drinking and not getting fucked up has left me with this weird excess of money that I forgot that you have when you're not buying drugs and alcohol, which is crazy in and of itself. And so I used to fucking read a shitload, and then this weird thing happened where I was like pickling my brain and I wasn't reading as much. And then that bothered me when I realized like it was always a passive thing, but it wasn't once I realized it like consciously, it was like, oh shit, that concept bothered me. So I've been doing this sick mental gymnastics where like I'll buy a shitload of books and send them to my house while I'm on tour. And I'm like, I'll just read them when I get home. But my justification is that I spent more in a night of drinking on most nights than I'm spending on any of these orders of books. Like even when I spent, $60 on used books, you get a shitload of books. And I fuck hitting $60 at the bar on tour is a fucking cakewalk. That's a fucking Tuesday where you're not trying. Yeah, so I've got like literally like there, there, there.
I
There's
see.
just piles of books that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna read this, and I've been staring at them for 2 days now, and I'm like, I don't know which one to read first. Fuck.
Just read them all at once. Just open them up.
That's what I was doing on tour. I had like 4 different books, and I'd get like the ADD would get real bad, and I'd get distracted, and I'd start reading a different book. So you get like, I mean, like fuck. Right now, within eyeshot, I've got some weird translation of a Japanese fucking police mystery that this dude wrote in the 30s or some shit. Um, a murder mystery. Well, not mystery. They know who did it. But there's a fucking like true crime book. Monty Python autobiography. Alan Turing fucking biography. Apparently, J.R.R. Tolkien did a fucking translation of Beowulf. So like the dude who writes some of arguably the most famous fantasy ever translates one of the oldest stories ever fucking written. Like, who doesn't want to read that? I mean,
Absolutely.
probably some. Yeah, there's a bunch of weird shit, like fucking sci-fi magazines. I don't know, man.
It only makes sense in your brain, and I that's why we all love you, Gerrity. It's because it's so you to have it all there and to plan it all out, and then to be disappointed in yourself if you don't do it within the first 2 days, because you're allowed to relax. You know that, right? You're allowed to relax over the first 2 days when you get home. This is a Vox and Hops Sober February episode, and when I discovered that you were no longer partaking in alcohol and or all of the extra fancy stuff that you like to partake in. You have spoken of very openly on the past episodes, as I mentioned, episode 14, 38, and 211. We'll dig more into that as we go. But let's talk about what we are drinking tonight. Vox and Hops is all about hanging out with my metal friends, talking about their lives and music, while typically sharing a craft beer, but it's Sober February. So what do we got on our sides, Gerrity?
I mean, falling right in line with what you just said about having a million things and not being able to choose. I've got a lovely AHA caffeinated sparkling water, Fuji Apple White Tea, but then also a cherry blossom LaCroix.
Hell yes, a caffeinated aha. See that has not made its way up here to Canada. That's cool. So that's an extra cool little thing. The caffeine in the bubbles. No one's done that yet. That's I like
It's
that
the
idea.
best. Caffeinated bubbly. Like the Bubs is the best.
Yeah, well, once again, go states for being, avant-garde, let's say. On my side, I'm drinking something from Pitch Black North, this Satanic Tea Company. This is Throat of Lucifer. It's their Albertan Peppermint and Lavender tea. Shout out to the Satanic Tea Lord himself, Dominic, for hooking me up with this and being all, he's just awesome. And he makes super cool Satanic tea. Come on, what more do you want? That's what I got on my side. Let's dig into the deep of it. So throughout the past year, since 211, episode 211, like 180 episodes, or just say, What happened? Tell me what you're sober now. What is this story?
Okay, so we'll get it out of the way. I shit blood.
Yeah.
That'll fuck it. That's like a hard stop with most things. But no, I had like weird stomach fucking problems. I was getting these like weird prolonged stomach cramps that fucking or intestinal or abdominal, we'll say, because I don't know exactly where the fuck they came from at the time. Um, it was fucking me up real bad. And, it wasn't like a conscious choice, I guess. It was. I mean, a bunch of people had told me I should stop drinking a lot, especially like pandemic when I took that shit, bro. Um,
But during the
no,
pandemic, you would go on and off because I remember you would write me and you'd be like, Matt, no, no, I look at this meal prep because that's how you would hit me. I was like, Matt, look how
yeah,
much beer I bought. I drank all this beer. Look at all these Millers. And then the other opposite spectrum of the Gerrity throughout the pandemic was, Matt, look at these vegan meal prep I did. And I've been
yeah.
running. I'm looking great. I'm so happy. And it was really like that. It was back and forth throughout the whole pandemic with you.
That's what living in my brain is like. It's the fucking this all the time. You're like, hell yeah, hell no, this is fucking great. Fuck this. Yeah. Imagine what it's like living in that, this fucking oh God. No. So like I went to MDF and it was fucking amazing. And well, it was amazing right up until I missed the entire last night of MDF. Like I got fucking plastered, and I was having a blast watching Tom G do like the fucking Celtic Frost set and shit, and um, yeah, fucking my stomach started hurting, and I missed everybody that played the last night. Once the lot closed, I was like hyped. I was gonna go see fucking Cephalic Carnage fucking playing again, all that shit. Yeah, no, went back to the hotel room and was like fucking between the shitter and my fucking bed for like 2.5 hours, and I missed the whole fucking night. I was like, this is dumb. And then I finally went to a doctor, and I had to get a fucking colonoscopy and an endoscopy, which is where they stick the camera up your ass, and then the other one's down your throat. And unfortunately, they can't just use the same camera to save time. They gotta fucking whatever.
As long
Um,
as they start on the top first, I'd be into the sharing of the camera.
listen, man, I'll take what I can get at this point. Fuck it, go make it fun. Um, but yeah, so I did that shit, and they gave me the most like useless fucking answers. They're like, yeah, we don't know exactly what's going on. It could be stress, it could be dietary, or it could be genetic. And I'm like, I have the exact same amount of information I do now before you shoved a camera in my ass. Are you sure you're a fucking doctor? You sure you didn't wake up with scrubs on and think I'll try this shit out today? Like, really? I paid money for this?
Mm.
So, yeah. So it was like a kind of, well, I'm gonna stop doing, and they basically their best guess was stop doing things that make your stomach hurt. And it's like that's the equivalent of like old joke about hurts when I do this and then don't fucking do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what they get. So and living in a bus all year on tour, can't really have stomach problems. There's nowhere to fucking shit.
Yeah, lots of
So
hot bagging for Gerrity, sadly.
yeah, lots of fucking bag of shame. So I just had to stop eating a bunch of shit that was fucking me up, and I stopped drinking a bunch because drinking was fucking me up real bad. And then all of a sudden it was like I think we landed in It was the day we landed in Australia, which was like it was like fucking 2 weeks ago or something, a week ago, I don't remember. But I realized that had been like 6 months since I had stopped I'd stopped drinking, and it wasn't like a conscious like, oh, I'm gonna fucking I'm gonna get sober. It was just like, oh, I've been doing this for 6 months. And I thought it'd be a lot harder than it was, but it's not really that difficult. I just don't. I mean, I sleep more. I realized I don't like drunk people. That was a fun one. It's like this revelation where they're like, God. I mean, I don't like a lot of people to begin with, but like, fucking,
Surprise.
yeah, it was a surprise. I was like, oh God. And I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I was one of those people. Fucking, there was a fucking Buckcherry tour we did where like I got hammered and then somebody pulled the fire alarm, and they tell you don't use the elevator. I was like, fuck that. And I had this big thing of Oreos and I rode the elevator down. And I was like walking around the lobby hammered, offering Oreos to people while there's apparently a fire because the fire, and everyone's like, what the no, we don't want fucking Oreos. We're gonna burn to death. Get the fuck away from me. I'm like, all right, man, whatever. And like my whole fucking crew saw it, and they saw me walk out of the elevator. Like, what is wrong with you? I was like, I'm having a great time. What? Something going on? Yeah, it's fucking fire. Um, but yeah, no, it's like it was an interesting revelation. Where like I learned that Irish goodbying people is real fun too. Where like you just go out and hang out with people, and then you just leave and don't tell anybody. It's the fucking best. Like, oh, where'd you go? Don't worry about where I fucking went. I went not here. That's all you need to know. Fucking sweet.
Well, you were there at the beginning when you could tolerate them, and then as soon as they're unpalatable anymore, you leave.
Yeah. I'm fucking out. And then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to fucking Taco Bell or something. It's gonna be sick. Yeah, like fucking burrito.
So 6 months that it
Yeah.
just happened, just trying to not shit blood and feel horrible was the
Yeah,
biggest
but
motivation, because multiple
it's
things of your life must have told you that you needed to stop doing these things from the
no, yeah,
previous
yeah.
experiences on the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: when you're super drunk, you can ignore those things. It's pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
you can just go, oh, shitting blood. Yeah, it's not a big deal. I'll deal with that later. It's like, oh, waking up places I don't remember how I got there. Nah, deal with that. That's tomorrow me's problem. Um, shit like that. But um, no, when the blood goes from the inside of your body to the outside of your body, it's a really easy way to motivate yourself to not do stuff. So it doesn't even hurt. That's the crazy thing. You'd think it would be painful. It's not. You just are shitting, and then all of a sudden, the inside juice becomes outside juice, and you're like, it's not supposed to be like that.
No.
Um, yeah. I mean, it was pretty cool because there was like a good. So I learned one of the fun things I learned is like all the intestinal weird shit that goes on. Um, they all have the same symptoms. So like if you have really bad IBS, prolonged intestinal cramps, weird fucking stool, shitting blood, ass cancer, prolonged intestinal cramps, weird stool, shitting blood, like all of them. So it's like a dice roll. You don't know which one you got until they stick the camera up there. Um, so that's fun. Uh, and so they told me to stop drinking, like because they ask you all those obligatory questions. So, do you drink? Yes. How much? Yes. It's like, what do you mean? Yes. It's like, don't worry about it.
Everything.
Just
Yeah.
is it there? Give it to me. Um, yeah, and I had to stop doing a bunch of shit. I stopped fucking eating meat for the most part. So you and I are on the same fucking team finally. Yeah, I mean, fried foods and meat just would fuck me up so bad. I mean, fuck, man. Chicken wings were the holdout for the longest time. They're so fucking good, but like, I mean, the only two things I didn't give up was like the doctors when he was listing all the foods I was gonna have to stop fucking with and like all the things I'd stop putting in my body. I was kind of zoning out because he started like Charlie Brown featuring on me, where he's talking exactly. And he said acidic foods, which falls under like two things that I'm not fucking. And he starts listing and he's like coffee, blah 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 blah, and then he says spicy, blah blah blah, and I went fuck off. And he goes, excuse me. I was in my head and I was thinking fuck off, but then it came out and I was like, I mean, I was trying to think that, but I stand by it. Like, no, give me pills. Like, no. Like, I'm not going to eat fucking oatmeal every day. Like,
Mm.
because you don't have a fucking better answer. Like, so, they gave me some fucking, what the fuck is this shit called? Pantoprazole. I gotta take it every fucking morning and it keeps my stomach from eating itself, I guess. But I can drink
Wow.
coffee and I can eat spicy food, so that's fucking good.
Well, it's the small victories, out of this whole situation that's happened to you, because this part of your identity, which you're now disassociating yourself with, was such a crucial part as to who Gerrity was in the world of touring. Now,
Yeah,
your friends
it's
knew the real
weird.
Gerrity, obviously, because you're like an orange, like an orange. You're not an orange. You're like an onion. There's lots of layers you got to peel back until you can get to the core of what Gerrity is. And a lot of people don't get that. And the people that do
It's
get
none
it
of their
really
fucking
do fucking get
business.
you. And they love you. And I love you. And a bunch of other people do because they know you. But a lot of the outer shell of Gerrity is abrasive, um, party
Yeah.
fueled, whether it be alcohol induced party fuel, or other paraphernalia, which you are very well known for, and you've spoken about well on Vox and Hops, so I'm taking the liberty of still talking about it. So how hard was it for you to disassociate yourself in this new character, and how much of it tied into maybe being with a different band that isn't such of a party band? Maybe. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
Fun fact, you kind of touched on all of it at once accidentally. So I mean, there was a part where like there was a little part where I was it kind of came after, but I was thinking about it where I was like, huh, I was like, I wonder if I'm gonna be the same fucking person because like I mean, not just like personality wise, but like I guess it's personality, but how you process things, like how you think about things, because when you're fucking half in the bag all the time, like you react differently to things, um, and it kind of fucking it freaked me out a little bit, and I try not to think about it for a while because I was like, oh man, like am I still gonna react to things? Am I still gonna think the same way? Am I still gonna be like insane? And it like made me wonder, and then I like maybe like a couple weeks in. I forget what happened, but there was like one of those like those moments where there's like a fucking fork in the road, and my brain chose to be insane still, and I was like, oh, still got it, great, we're solid. Um, Brain still barely works, but yeah, and I mean touring with all the Buck Cherry dudes are fucking sober, like none of
Mhm.
them fucking party. Some of the crew does, but like whatever. Um, so that made it kind of easy. Also, doing so between them and Hylong doing like way bigger fucking like doing bigger volume tours, and running merch for that shit. Uh, I can't drink while you're doing that shit, man. Like you're talking way too much money to like drink. So I didn't drink when I was doing that anyways. So it was just like, oh, it's an easy transition. I'm just not gonna drink when I get on the bus. Um, and I mean, I was too fucking busy on those tours anyways, where it's like, I mean, Highland, we'd get there and fucking take 5 hours to get, everything in the building set up, all that kind of shit. And then, we had vendors every day and, normal tourist shit. Um, but yeah, there's like there's like that weird period where you kind of question who you're going to be on the other side of that. And then, once I realized it's like functionally the same fucking weird, insane moron that I've always been, I was like, oh, this is fucking cake. And I mean, for the most part, everyone I hang out with, when you tell the most people you quit drinking, there's always going to be some of that weird pushback from some people. It's like, oh, come on. But when you tell people you quit drinking because you shit blood, there's not pushbacks.
It's not because you had
Strange. Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't find Jesus. I didn't magically choose to care about my health. Apparently, if you so there's that old saying, right, that where people are like, oh, I think it's the Christians. I don't fucking one of the Sky friends though. They're like, oh, your body is a temple. So if my parallel to that is that their body is a temple, my body is the floor of a dirty venue, like fucking Ground Zero and fucking Spartanburg or somewhere else that I fucking hate. Um, so apparently, if you do that for like 20 years, bad things happen. I feel like we should have been warned about this, or maybe I was warned and I ignored it. I don't know, but yeah, eating like shit, drinking, putting every illicit substance you can get your hands on into your body, and then finally your body pushes back, and you're like, darn, who saw this coming? Oh yeah, everyone fucking saw this coming.
Well, I'm happy that you're doing well and that it's working. Was it difficult at first? Was it like you seem to, you're definitely a resolved person, so I know when you put your mind to something, you're going to do it. But those first few weeks, was it difficult to stop?
Man, the secret is spite. Just spite for everything. Like, that's the real motivator in my life is just find a way to be angry at or to spite something, and I have all the motivation in the world. And at that point, the choice was to spite my own body. So when I was like, oh, fucking, oh, you want to drink, but you can't because you're shitting blood or whatever. Well, then I was like, fucking, I'll show you, you piece of shit. which is not weird because I've said that to myself many times in life. Um, you just choose turn the motivating factor. But no, it's surprisingly easier than I expected. I mean, I definitely, it was harder to not eat chicken wings than it was to not drink.
Mm.
And it was harder to not eat ice cream because I definitely ate ice cream and gave myself diarrhea like a bunch of times. And I knew it was gonna happen. It was gonna suck. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be stuck on the toilet, but I'm gonna eat this pint of Ben and Jerry's. And fucking but yeah, drinking was fucking super easy to not do. And strangely enough, when I'm not hammered, I'm also not trying to fucking hoover cocaine like it's going off at off sale tomorrow. Um, Also, drugs are expensive. It's crazy.
Very expensive.
Yeah, when I'm sober, the ATM is not just the magic money box where I hit buttons and money comes out. It's weird. Fucking real strange.
Falls into my next topic, which is positive surprises of sobriety. More money is definitely one of them. What would be other things that you've discovered that your life is better because you've made this decision?
Oh man. So my tolerance for bullshit has like disappeared. It's great. Like when I was hammered, I put up with a lot of people's shit because I was drunk and I was like, we're having a good time. Now I'm sober, I'm just like, get the fuck away from me. And they're like, man, you're kind of a dick, you're sober. It's like, no, I was nicer when I was drunk. There's a difference. This is just how I felt the whole time, which is it's cathartic, let's put it that way. Like there's a bunch of shit that I just refuse to tolerate now. And it's really, really nice. I don't want to say it's like a weight has been lifted because it's just doing what I've always done, but like with less reserve, I guess. Like so when I was like hammered, somebody invites you out to go do something, right? And you're like, I don't really want to go, but I can get drunk and fucking then I'll be like once I'm drunk, I'm here, fuck it, can't leave because I'm hammered. Uh and that was kind of a thing. Now, if they're like, hey, do you want? I'm like, not even fucking remotely. And they're like, I didn't ask you yet. And I'm like, I know, it doesn't matter. I don't want to do it. Leave me alone. Go away. Um, and that's cool. So I have a lot more time to like do stuff that I want to. I can't decide what I want to do, but if I could decide, I have more time to do it. Um, so that's cool. Oh, not eating like shit is a cool accidental side effect because when you're fucking shithoused at 3 in the morning, you'll buy basically. I had a bad habit of getting shit faced and ordering weird crap on the internet and buying crappy food. Because when you're drunk, my choices are whoever will deliver to me. And I usually didn't think about food until way late, so that meant a lot of fucking Taco Bell.
Mm.
And, I don't know if you know this, man, but dog food grade Mexican food is not a good diet.
Especially not for your
So,
intestines.
fuck no. Why do you think they're broken? Because I fucking treated them well? No. I mean, I literally survived off Miller Lite and Wendy's during the pandemic. Oh, wow, you shit blood. Shocking. What's next? Fucking water's wet?
It is true that when we do tend to drink, there's always that extra meal.
Yeah, crazy. And then you get all fat and you're like, how did this happen? Was it the garbage food or the empty carbs? I don't know.
Both.
Yeah.
Both.
So there's the tricky flip though. I got fat anyways, even if I'm not drinking, because my fucking thyroid doesn't work. So bleh.
Mm. Life loves you, Gerrity.
When it fucking rains, it pisses.
Drunk people. What is it about drunk people that you realize that you despise so much? What is it?
Oh man, so I know this is gonna be funny because I what I do for a living, but like I immensely dislike just we'll call them loud, indignant people, where it's like you stupid motherfucker, like you too dumb to know how dumb you are, you fucking walking Dunning-Kruger, like Jesus, that, and it's just it's so infuriating. And I mean, I get that's my thing. That's always kind of been there, but like when you're sober, it's so much fucking worse. But I mean, there's a bunch of friends of mine that I like. I literally went out with people the other night. I got home and fucking Municipal Waste and High on Fire were playing and fucking
Yeah.
toured with both of them. So I went straight from the airport to the show, hung out with a bunch of people. They're all drinking. It was great. We had a blast, but they're all fucking adults. who can, have a couple beers and not act like a shit box. Um, and there's friends that I've gone out and hung out with, and they're fucking ripped. But on the average, a lot of people go out and get fucking the general public, I'll say. The unwashed masses, I'll go out and it's just like, oh man, I don't want to fucking, because I deal with that as like that's work too. Like I think that's the bigger part of it. That's work. So like I'm nice to drunk people for money because that's my job. Um, I'm not your friend. I am here to sell you a T-shirt, and if being nice to you facilitates that, fucking great. Good. I've done my part. I don't want to have to go out and do that for free. Just like going to hang out at bars, and I'm like, oh man, I just did this for 6 months and I got paid, and now I'm standing around a bunch of people I don't like for free. This is stupid. I can do something I like instead. It's just awful.
So more time is definitely a big thing. Um, um, that's what keeps resonating throughout all of this. Your love of caffeine, still sticking to spicy foods. But you got to keep a little bit of your love. If not, you'll just be a hollow shell of the form of Gerrity that you once were.
It'd be awful. It'd be fucking terrible.
Um, a lot of bands that we've toured with together, perhaps my band, are there bands that you would no longer want to tour with because you know that it's going to put you into a toxic, weird situation?
So
And
not
you don't have
really,
to name
man. Like
bands, but just like more the situation is
nah,
the
nah,
context.
because like so I mean I get the concept of like the being put in a toxic situation that might like tempt you, but I'm not tempted. That's the easy like it's like I mean it's always I guess it's always there. There's that whole shit about being an addict and it's always there or whatever the fuck that is. I don't know. I don't go to meetings. Um, but uh, it always goes back to like if I do this, body pain and blood shitting. That's that's literally all it boils down to. Like that's the in the back of my head all the time. So it's like, yeah, I could drink, but then that's like always potentially the result. And it's like, man, I don't want to deal with that again because I had to like go to a doctor and it was a pain in the ass to schedule because I'm always on tour.
Yeah.
So then it's like I had to fucking schedule it like 4 months out, and then I missed the first one because we got the fucking dates mixed up, and I had to reschedule. It cost a bunch of money. It was stupid. It was a fuck show. I don't want to do that. But no, like hanging out with bands is like as long as it's people I enjoy being around in the first place, it's super easy because we just did like I mean all the tours I've done this year, somebody inevitably like somebody drinks on it, and that doesn't bother me. Like I'm the last person to ever fucking shame somebody for poor decision making because I mean this is a fucking testament to the fucking thing. I mean I have no hair and my body barely works. It's not because I'm taking care of fucking whatever this testament to fucking sentient trash is. Um, but like, yeah, if as long as it's people I want to be around in the first place, then or like there's a separation point where like at a certain level you don't fucking I'm fine to hang out with anybody anyways. Like I'm too fucking busy. So it's wake up, work, sleep. And that makes it real easy when you just like as long as I can keep myself busy, which being on tour is a fucking great recipe for. So I mean, if anything, sitting at my house right now would be the most arguably tempting, but it's really not because my fucking roommates are sober and like half the people I fucking hang out with now, we all got old and we're like, oh man, we can't drink anymore. This sucks. Shocking. All my shithead friends are making rounding the same corner that I am. Weird. Who saw that coming?
At least you're there together. You do
Yeah,
need a
yeah, yeah,
support circle is important. But
yeah. And I
you
mean,
you definitely always have the feeling of like shit and shitting blood in the back of your mind as opposed to just I want to stop drinking because it's too much for me.
yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It was pretty great. Like, it was a lot of fun, but also I'm like, there's a lot of bad decisions that have been made on that shit.
Yes. Absolutely. um, typically, when I've spoken to people that have become sober, they have new vices. But you mentioned a little bit the addictive personality. I know you as who you are, someone that voraciously consumes stuff that they're passionate about, whether it be knowledge, drugs, alcohol, food. What is something new? Not the caffeine, not the spicy food. Is there anything new in your life that you've started consuming a little bit more of since you've taken a break?
Yeah. So when I was a kid, I had this fucking weird book. It was about like uh, toxic plants and such in Florida that you could like this is poison ivy, this is poison oak, this is fucking mushrooms will kill you, blah 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 blah, blah, that kind of shit. Um, and I don't know what happened to it, but when I was a kid, I used to walk around in my fucking grandparents' yard and try to pick out what the fucking the edible plants were, and it was great. And I had this weird thing one day where I was sitting in my house. I was like, I don't know what happened to that. So I bought another one, different book, but same premise. And yeah, now that I'm home, I want to wander around in the woods by myself and look at plants and try to figure out what the fuck they are. And it's great. I take my dog with me, and nobody else will be there to bother me. Um, I on a couple of the tours I went on, we had days off and we spent them in the woods,
Yeah.
and it was great. And I wandered around in the redwoods, and it was fucking beautiful. And I went to fucking Big Sur and walked around on I don't know, man, like nature shit. I rediscovered my joy of walking around in the woods and nature. 'Cause it's generally, if you get far enough out, it's quiet. You can do it by yourself. Um, there's no fucking shitty kids running around. Like you go fucking sitting in your bookstore, you're trying to look at a book, and some dipshit crotch goblin fucking runs by, and uh, look, just because people choose to keep cum as a pet does not mean that I enjoy it. That's all I'm saying. Um, which is what children are. But yeah, you can go it's great. You can wander around in nature and you just see this massive, expansive beauty that it's free. That's the other thing for the most part. Like
Mhm.
the United States likes to build little lines and say this costs money, but you don't have to listen to them. Just go there. But yeah, it's fucking amazing. Like we went swimming in this fucking. We wandered up a dry riverbed because it was autumn, so the water level is low because it comes down from the mountains out of the meltwaters, and there's low meltwater. So I walked up a dry riverbed, and then we like wandered into the redwoods, and then fucking there's these plants that I'd never seen before that look like feather dusters, and it was little fucking skinks, and it was crazy. And then we all ended up trying to figure out how to make our phones do astrophotography because we're in the middle of fucking nowhere and you could see the Milky Way, and it was amazing. Shit like that. And that's usually the time period from being awake to being asleep where I would have gotten hammered because we did that on a day off. So, like nature shit, it's been a big, and not in like a hippie way, like Mother Earth and all that crap. No, just like it's a nice thing you can do where you walk around and enjoy. And I mean, living in Florida, there's tons of fucking unfucked with land still, where I can go into the swamps and the springs and all that shit. And so that's been a big thing that's kept me entertained. I mean,
Well,
mentally, I haven't done it yet. I just got home, but
we have 2 days. You got to rest, Gerrity. Um, absolutely. I'm so happy that you're doing that because I love that as well, and I don't have enough time to connect with nature. But if you're not getting wasted and not hungover, you can take the time to go and do that.
I think was it our tour in Europe where we played I want to say it was the Cryptopsy aborted fucking in Europe. There was one of the multitude nights that I got fucking blackout drunk, and I remember I had a plan that the where we parked the bus. I think it was the Guggenheim was like right across. It was somewhere. I think it was in Spain. Yeah, it's in Spain. We were in Spain, and I remember knowing that the venue was by the Guggenheim, and I was like, oh fuck, I want to go. And I got hammered, and I remember it's like seared into my brain. I woke up and went, "Fuck yeah, today's the Guggenheim," and then my next thought was, "Fuck no, I'm hungover." And we had
Mm,
those weird little the weird little pull curtains upstairs,
yep.
and I remember pulling it across and seeing the fucking museum and its weird architecture and being excited. And then I looked at my phone, and we had load in like 10 minutes,
Oh,
and I was
yeah,
like, I hate myself right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
But yeah, shit like that. That doesn't happen anymore, so that's kind of neat. Um,
Right. A big thing for you throughout all of our conversations, and you've spoken about it many times, especially the second time on 38, episode 38, when is mental health. Um, Obviously, you have found ways to cope with the voices in your head or the things that go on in the mind of Gerrity, the monsters.
Bastards.
38, you even spoke a little bit about having a strong gag reflex, which saved your life when you were extremely inebriated, because it made you throw up and you didn't shoot yourself, which is a good thing. And we're all happy that you're still here. And when you told me that, I couldn't fucking believe it. But now you've had to replace vices. Getting away, getting into nature is a good thing from that. Obviously, diving into substances and alcohol is a way to cope with mental health issues or health moments. What do you do now that you can't? Yeah.
Um, Sometimes if you find a spot where no one can hear you, you can scream incredibly loudly.
Yeah.
Um, like for instance, the front of a bandwagon while everyone's asleep. You can
Yeah.
just be driving and then you just scream
Really?
because yeah, sometimes existence is just fucking painful, and it's mind melting, and I hate it. And so you just yell really loud. If you're at the beach, you can yell at the ocean. Sometimes you just yell at the sun because it's that thing's fucking fault that we're all here.
Mm.
Could have been a little bigger, melted the rock, problem solved, done and dusted. Um, so yelling at stuff. Uh, Sometimes we still got to rely on the classic, like 8 hour long existential crisis. You got a raw dog life, sucks, and you just ignore it. Not really. You just panic internally though. You keep it inside because it's nobody else's problem but your own. So you shove that shit down deep. That one still is a thing. I'm not recommending it for everybody. I'm just
No, you
saying
gotta
it's
talk,
what
people. Open
happens.
up and talk, people.
I'm kind of doing that now. I fucking uh, sometimes I will talk to some people, person, like two people, whatever. It's fine. That's
That's
more
all
than
you
none.
need.
We're making
That's all
progress.
you need. No.
Oh, talking to my dog, that's cool. I like that one. But that's not new. I just talk to him because he just sits there and does that weird head cock thing where they stare at you. Um, and you can make up whatever you want because they don't speak people. So that one's fun. If you do it in public though, you'll look fucking crazy. But I mean, that's literally what we're talking about is mental illness. So, oh no. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just kind of take it as it comes, man. Like,
Well, it's been 6 months, so it's still young, this whole new Gerrity. So
yeah, we could backslide, and I could just go right back to shit and blood, like fucking like spray
no.
farting, fucking red paint everywhere. I don't know. I'm not. That's the other thing. I never planned it out, so it's not. I never said it was like forever. I'm not like fucking.
Hmm.
Um,
You definitely have to take care
I'm
of
just
yourself, which is the most important thing, though. And you have been, which is important.
yeah. That's what they tell me. The not being in crippling pain part is oh man, that was the best too. When I fucking finally went back to the doctor too, they like fucked up and they went, "Have you been taking your painkillers?" And I was like, what are you talking about?" And they're like, "Yeah." They're like, "Yeah, the painkillers we prescribed." I was like, "You didn't prescribe me fucking painkillers." And they're like, "Yeah, we do this right here." And I was like, "No." And they're just like, "Oh, oops." And I was like, Oops, excuse the fuck out of me. What now?" I mean, I'm pretty, I would say like pain tolerance. I mean, I don't. Did we talk about me ripping my tooth out?
We talked about the brushing the tooth with the.
Yeah. The boot brush thing. Okay, yeah. So like that shit. Like I was on tour the entire year, and like my intestines are trying to cripple me.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and it's like it sucks, but you just deal with it. You're like, okay, whatever, gotta work. Because you still have to pay bills. Uh, But you know, they were like, "Oh yeah, we meant to give you the but fucking good intentions don't mean shit, bro." Like I was out there trying not to fucking piss out of my ass and fall over in the fetal position,
Jesus.
just because of your fucking oopsie. So we may have fancy carbonated water, but our healthcare still sucks. So go Canada. Um,
Do you think, and this is me just asking questions, if you did get the painkillers, would it have spiraled into a different direction with your history with substance
I
abuse?
mean, no, because it's not the kind I can abuse. Because the kind you can abuse, I'm allergic to. So it's a muscle relaxer for your intestines that causes them not to go like all the
Mm.
time. So it's like, what's that? You get the idea. Um, yeah, no, so that like I can't get fucked up on those. I think the worst thing would happen if you take a bunch of them is you just have like shit passively sliding out of your ass all day. You have no bowel control. I don't
That
know.
doesn't sound very fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's
It's
a
not a
different kind of
trip.
getting fucked up. That's a different kind of getting fucked up, man. What'd you do? I took a bunch of pills and shit myself. Yeah.
So the kind that you can't abuse, you're allergic to. I'm sure you've told me this before, but your body is basically protecting you
I mean,
by
yeah, I mean, I accidentally did, opiates like one time. And the only like, so it was I, so we had bought a bunch of cocaine and we had that. And then we were trying to buy more cocaine, but we accidentally bought heroin because pure cocaine and pure heroin are both brown and sticky.
Mhm.
Whatever. And the choice was, do you have two separate, the cocaine and the good cocaine, or do you just fucking marry that shit together and upgrade it a bit? And that's what we chose to do. But in actuality, we had mixed heroin and cocaine together, so we were fucking speedballing. Oops. And it was weird because I got the tests. Like I know I'm allergic to opiates, and heroin is definitely an opiate. Last time I checked. And afterwards, I was at the doctor and I was like talking about shit, and this was like years and years ago. I was like, "Oh, by the by, in passing, I accidentally did heroin and didn't die. Um, what's
What's
up with
up?
that?" And then, yeah, and I told her what happened, and she goes, "Oh, well, I'm not there, so I don't fucking, she wasn't there, but the best guess was that so when you go into like the anaphylaxis from having an allergic reaction, they give you the shot, right? And it's like fucking adrenaline gets your shit all fucking. Do you know what else surges your adrenaline? Fucking cocaine. So
The fact that you were
my take.
speedballing saved your life.
That's what I told her, and she's like, "I am not gonna fucking say that." And I was like, "You don't have to."
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So the only time I've ever accidentally done something that could kill me, I accidentally saved myself by throwing more gas on that fire. Weird. Um, so the takeaway was that drugs could have killed me, but more drugs saved my life. Not saying that. That's a joke. That's for legal purposes. That is a joke.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, no. So no, I can't. It's like that's my body, I guess, trying to pr protect me from doing things that I would totally abuse given the opportunity.
Well, I'm happy you didn't or do not. Um, if you see someone, and I imagine I know the answer to this because I know you, in your circle that's spiraling into the same place you were at 6 months ago, what would you tell them?
I mean, there's one of my friends that was like, was we're kind of in the same boat. Not like he wasn't shitting blood because I'm not that good of friends with most people. I don't need to know if you're shitting blood. Like keep that to yourself. We're our doctor. But no, we were both in the same boat. Like pandemic shit just got fucking ripped, and then we both came out of it like, oh, this sucks. And we both kind of were like, huh, we should stop. Yeah, that's a good idea. And then we both got on the drinking fizzy water instead train.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
and yeah, there's like, yeah, I mean, given the opportunity, there was one of the limited handful of people I actually hang out with. Um, I don't tell them like, hey man, you're being a fucking moron. Cut that shit out. If you're gonna do it, drink hard liquor like a fucking adult. No, I'm just kidding. No. I mean, most
Save the
most people.
carbs.
Yeah, man, that's vodka, less carbs, same drunk, cheaper. Efficiency. No, yeah, most of the people that I hang out with, I wouldn't need to tell them anything because I would just be me and probably talk shit to them, and they'd be like, okay, yeah, fucking comes from a place of love. Sure, yeah. But yeah, no, we'd have a chat. Uh, you can always threaten them. That one works too. Like I have a balaclava right over there. We could just fucking put that shit on. Be like, I will
Stop
disappear,
it!
you motherfucker.
Stop drinking!
Yeah, where I had it. I had it in here. So I think I left it in the car. Maybe did I still check
In
it?
the car.
Yeah, I had it. So
You
we
live in
so
Florida. It's not cold there.
No, no. Okay, so I had the balaclava because me and some friends of mine went in on a present for another buddy of mine who works too much. So we bought him a PS5, and the plan was we went for Black Friday. We were gonna go to his house with balaclavas on, but totally naked. I was gonna break into his house, and then we were gonna have like this present of a PS5 for him. But there's the whole, juxtaposition of me naked with a ski mask on, screaming while you're asleep after I break into your house. But also, I have a PS5 for you. Yeah, yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. So, yeah, that's why I have a balaclava.
Of course. Makes perfect sense, but
I mean, it made great sense to me and my friend that I enlisted to do it. Uh, he got real lucky though because they were sold out. So by the time we got one, it was too late and he was already awake. Otherwise, I'd have been fucking up in his house naked as fuck, and I know what I look like. Having fucking thyroid issues means all my hair is falling out in weird patches, so it looks like I've got fucking people mange. So I'd be coming at you like a fucking weird dog, fucking patchy and ski mask. Oh man, it'd be great. Hey, this right here, that was the kind of confirmation I needed to like. Oh, my brain's still broken, and the way it works is great for me, but everyone else is like, you're fucking insane. Yeah, that's not the booze. So I still got that going. That part's cool.
I have a new segment called Fight the Hops, which is where I ask a question about something in your life that you are working on. Obviously, you are working on something big right now, but something like a small goal that you're trying to improve about yourself, something that you got going on, something you're trying to accomplish. What are you doing right now to fight the hops?
Started dating after like 5 years of avoiding people. So that's cool. Um, yeah, human interaction is weird for me. I don't like interpersonal things a lot. I enjoy having my little. I worry about what goes on in my head. You worry about what goes on in your head, and it's nice. I like that. Um, uh, uh, Allowing other people into the maelstrom of chaos that exists between my ears has never led to the greatest outcomes. Um, it's generally a pretty taxing endeavor for both parties. Uh, so I just didn't do it for like 5 years. And I figure if you're gonna raw dog life, don't do anything. Like no dating, no fucking, no nothing. Do not let another person into your fucking world. And it was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. And then accidentally, I didn't like it anymore. I was like, oh, it's gonna sucks, I guess. So I'm trying that shit out. So we're gonna see how that goes. Well, maybe by the next 100 episodes when I'm on again, I'm like, it was a fucking mistake, or it was great. I don't know. We'll find out.
I'm back into the hole.
Oh God, fucking. Yeah. We'll talk about it when I'm up there because I'm gonna be up there. Fucking what? How many days? It's like 9 days, I think. I'm flying up there.
Yeah, we're gonna hang out before this comes out, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it is.
I have two more questions. One of them is, are you playing music? You were playing guitar before we started recording this. Um,
Um,
some of your projects have petered out, or wrong word. Some of your projects are no longer active. Some of them never really got launched, such as Lucifer really didn't take shape, which is one of the first things you talked about on episode 14, I believe. So what do you got going on music wise? Like you're always on tour. Is that a reason why you don't want to start doing music of your own and bring yourself back out on tour? What's going on with music and Gerrity?
I mean, so uh, all of that, like all of my stuff, either got shoved to the side for pandemic-y things, where it was like, oh, I'm gonna start working on this stuff. No, I'm not. And then or it's remember what I was saying before about like where you have all this infinite time in your head. You're like, if I had all the time in the world, I'd do this. Um, that was lockdown, where it's like, if I have all the time in the world, I'll finish this record. Instead, I got hammered and didn't do a fucking thing. Well, um, that and then now that I'm back on tour, and I've been on tour since January, second week of January to what is now the second week of December.
It's insane.
So for a fucking year, I haven't done anything, and like the bands I was playing with, I'm like, this is dumb. I'm never home. Just get somebody else to fucking do it. Like, I don't have enough of an ego to give a shit if somebody else like, oh no, I'm not in the band. Wah. Like, who gives a shit? Whatever. I got plenty of other stuff to do. It's fun, but it's I've, I've never had the maybe that's the problem. I've never had the fucking thing where I like have to go out and perform. It's like just something fun I do with my friends. And it has to be fun, and I have to want to do it. Like I have to enjoy it. Otherwise, I'm just not going to do it. And I mean, I get that's like the worst fucking attitude to have as a musician. Like, I don't give a shit. I guess we'll play whatever. But like, um, so I mean, there is potential. A lot of it is sitting like in the shelf back over there, just hiding. And it's like if I get the motivation and I'm home long enough, I'll work on it. And this upcoming year, I've made a pact with myself that I'm gonna work fucking less because I keep having this habit where I'm always on tour and I never do anything. And it's weird because I remember I have this thing where I'll think about things, be like, yeah, that was like last year, and somebody's like, bro, that was 3 years ago, and I'm like,
Wow.
it's not pandemic related, it's just like tour
It's
related.
your life, yeah, because it's all the time. It's 40
Yeah,
weeks a year. It's just insane.
yeah. So
Since
I'm
what,
like, I'm trying.
2009?
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
something like
2009.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That Abigail
Conquer First
Williams tour.
2009. Yeah, that's the fucking. So basically, since then, like, other than like a couple years here and there where I was fucking starting off, yeah, so I'm trying not to do that. I'm gonna like, did you know there's this thing, Matt, where you can travel for fun, not for tour? It's crazy.
I've heard whispers of it. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try that out. I'm gonna try traveling, and I'm gonna try doing music stuff in this free time that I'm gonna have, where I don't work all every day. Like people can ask you to go on tour, and you could just say no. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I told a bunch of bands, I was like, don't call me anymore. And they're like, really? Don't. Just lose my number. We're friends, but not. We don't work together. And they're like, oh, okay. And I was like, it's not me, it's you, but that's okay. Um, yeah,
Oh,
if you
that's
burn
good.
all those bridges, if you burn all those bridges, man, you don't ever have to go back. It's pretty cool.
Well, if you're stepping up too, you
Yeah,
tour with a
that's
country
that's.
artist. Come on.
I did tour. Like I toured with a country artist. I toured with a fucking a radio band. I toured with fucking weird Euro world music people that are fucking blowing up. It's wild. Um, it's confusing, but it's cool. I'm like, I don't know why you got me here, but I'll take it. Just gonna hope nobody notices the fuck up and be like, wait a sec, what are you doing here? Hey.
One last question. I typically wrap up with a hangover cure. This no longer applies. I typically wrap up with a, best part of the pandemic. This doesn't apply in a sober instance, but I will ask you this, and it's a challenging part for you. How do you force yourself to relax? I want you to think about this over the next few days. I'm giving you homework, is what I'm doing.
Oh,
Uh,
goody.
you need to relax. You're hard on yourself for not reading all the books that you've ordered to your house, for not over the while you're on the past 45 weeks of tour, and you didn't read any in the 2 days that you're home. So I want you to find ways to relax. What makes you relax? What are things that sets your busy mind at ease? What have you been doing the past 2 days?
some bought. I've taken to hoarding. Like, well, I hoarded books, but that's fine. But no, I was like hoarding video games because when you're not spending money on booze, you can afford to buy other things. So I bought a bunch of games, and then I realized that I'm never gonna fucking be home to play them. So now I am home, and instead of staring at the wall and doing nothing and then being mad about it, I've been playing video games, which is fun. Apparently, that's a way that people have been told they relax. So then I blew out my knee fucking running during the pandemic, so that's not a thing anymore because damage. But you can walk. It's like running, but slower, and you can just do that. Again, it's free, and you can go out in nature and that part. So I'm gonna try that one out. Um, that's relaxing. Beyond that, I don't really know. I'm not good at it. I did yoga. I did yoga twice in my whole life, and no, don't cheer yet. It's bad. I got to the part where they tell you to relax, where they do the like let go and let your body. I did that, and both times I got a horrible leg cramp. Like I tried to relax, and my body went, and it wasn't like a water thing because I don't drink soda really. It's like water, coffee. I drink a lot of water. I think my body was just angry at the concept of being chill.
Being told what to do. Fuck you.
I'll show you. I'm fucking relaxed. Yeah, fucking relax when we're dead, you piece of shit. Ah.
Well, I hope that you find more ways to relax over your next few days at home before you come traveling around for pleasure. I hope that you do accomplish that goal of touring less and living more for yourself and being more choosy with tours because the bigger you get, the more you can charge too, so you don't have to do all the tours. And I hope that in 100 episodes we hang out again and I see where you're at in your life, and I'm sure it's going to be bright and shiny because every time it is a little bit shinier. So
No, it's my head. Doesn't
Nope.
fucking bald. That's what's shiny. See the light.
nope. No. Andrew Gerrity, thank you so much for hanging out with me once again for the fourth time, talking about life, talking about music, talking about your newfound sobriety, your newfound look on life, your newfound way of being Gerrity. Still absolutely 100% Gerrity, a better version. Cheers to you, bud.
There's blood.
Hey, thank you all so much for listening right to the end. You know that I love and appreciate that. Man, I can't get enough of Gerrity. 4 times is not enough. I gotta have him on again. He is just one of the best guests. There is no filter. He is so honest. He's always interesting, highly intelligent. I can't love Andrew Gerrity enough. I am so damn proud of him and happy that he's taking care of himself and he's doing what he needs to do to make himself, first off, feel better and stop feeling unwell, and also his life is just gone in a different direction. He could have gone in a totally different direction, and he's only going up. So massive love to you, Gerrity. I can't love you enough, and I'm so stoked that you came back on the podcast for the 4th time. It's just always such a blast with you. I can't like you enough. But get ready. If ever like Gerrity's in your town, go hang out with them. Take them out to dinner. You're gonna have a great time. Now, if you enjoyed this Vox and Hops episode, you should sign up to the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast mailing list. You can do that on my website, voxandhops.com. That's VOXANDHOPS.com. And when you do that, you shall receive 1 email a week that will contain all of the details of everything that has happened recently in the world of the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast. You'll get to see which episodes I dropped recently. You will get to see which episodes I have coming up. You will also get to hear about any projects I have in the works. And I am building 3 massive projects all at once right now. And I'm hinting at them in the newsletter, so if you want to hear about that, sign up to the newsletter. You will also get to see which albums the Vox and Hops album review crew have reviewed recently, and you'll get to see which albums Jerry Monk, Vox and Hops' Metal Architect, has added to the Brutal Awakenings playlist, which is always packed with just the most killer recent metal stuff. If you're looking for new music to listen to, well, the Brutal Awakenings playlist is what you want to be listening to. There is always a lot of killer stuff going on in the the world of the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast, and I hate when you miss a single thing, so do me a favor and sign up to the mailing list. The Vox and Hops Metal Podcast is brought to you by Sound Talent Media and Evergreen Podcasts. I hope you have a killer weekend. I will be back next week with one episode on Tuesday with Blake Lewis, Prince of Teeth. But until then, remember to enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. Cheers, Vox and Hops heads.